Welcome to A.D.A.P.T, your personalized AI coaching program. Late 2025 was chaos. Google, Anthropic, and OpenAI all dropped flagship models within 3 weeks of each other. Now the dust has settled, and we can look beyond the usual launch fanfare. Benchmarks up a few percentage points, context windows getting bigger each time. Honestly, they all start to look the same. But here is what the headlines miss. These models are built on fundamentally different design philosophies. And for business users, not coders, not developers, that difference matters far more than any benchmark score. So today, we are cutting through the noise to explain what actually changed, and more importantly, which model fits the way you work. Let's get straight into it.
So if you felt like the ground completely shifted beneath your feet near the end of 2025, you weren't imagining things. We saw this unprecedented convergence where the whole hierarchy of AI assistants just got reshuffled in, what, a matter of weeks?
Oh, it was absolute chaos. We call it the November-December AI race. You had Google, Anthropic, and OpenAI all drop their flagship models inside, like a 3-week window.
Wow.
Yeah, and for business leaders, the challenge went from, hey, isn't this tech cool, to, how do I actually map these very specific tools to my actual business workflows?
And that's exactly what we're unpacking today. We're doing a deep dive into a business user's guide to the leading AI assistants of 2025. I do want to be clear right up front. This material was curated by Prashant Agarwal for A.D.A.P.T. That's his business-first applied AI coaching program.
It's a fantastic resource. I mean, Prashant just strips away all the marketing fluff and focuses purely on strategy, on operations.
The goal here is really a structured walkthrough, right?
Exactly. How these models function so you can manage them effectively.
Okay, so let's start with the timeline. I think the sequence of events here really explained the design philosophy behind each one. What exactly happened?
So it all kicked off November 18th, 2025. Google launches Gemini 3, pushes it out across its whole ecosystem.
Okay.
Just 6 days later, November 24th, Anthropic drops Claude Opus 4.5. And then on December 11th, it seems like OpenAI hit some kind of internal code red because they rushed ChatGPT 5.2 at the door to stay in the game.
Before we get into which one to use, the source material brings up this really key technical idea we needed to define: stateless functions.
Yeah.
What does that mean for us non-tech people?
This is so crucial. These models have no memory. They're stateless.
None at all.
None. Every single time you send a message, the model is rereading the entire conversation history from scratch. It turns it into data tokens, predicts the next word, the memory you feel. It's an illusion created by just refeeding the transcript over and over.
Okay, so that takes us straight to the idea of a context window, which is what? Basically how much of that history they can reread at once.
Exactly.
The specs on this are wild. Gemini has 1 million tokens, GPT with 400K, and Claude with 200K. I mean, does that just mean Google wins by default?
You would absolutely think so, wouldn't you? But this is where we hit what the source calls the context paradox.
Okay.
So despite Gemini 3's enormous 1 million token window, users are reporting it forgets instructions after just 5 to 12 turns in a chat.
Only 5 turns.
It's wild. It's excellent for a single pass analysis, feed it a massive code base, great. But for a long back and forth dialogue, it fails.
All right, so Gemini is for bulk processing, not for chatting. What about ChatGPT 5.2?
GPT has a different problem, what the source calls context degradation syndrome. See, to keep things fast and cheap, it uses compaction. It summarizes the older parts of your conversation.
Which leads to?
It leads to instruction rigidity. It starts to ignore your specific formatting rules, your tone, the longer the chat goes on. It's a workhorse for self-contained tasks, but it loses that nuance over time.
Okay, that leaves Claude Opus 4.5. What's its approach?
Claude uses a strategy of deliberate caution. It actually preserves what it calls thinking blocks to maintain its line of reasoning.
So it's slower.
It is slower, yeah. And sometimes it over-explains things, but the trade-off is that users report it stays coherent for over 30 hours of continuous work. It's all about fidelity over speed.
Let's translate this into a cheat sheet. For the managers listening, based on this ADAPT framework, when do I use which tool?
Okay, here's the breakdown. Use Gemini 3 for synthesis. If you have a giant PDF, a huge document, or you're working deep inside Google Drive, it's your tool for that single-pass analysis.
And for my day-to-day work, spreadsheets, presentations.
That's ChatGPT 5.2 for productivity. If you need a spreadsheet, a slide deck, a specific formatted report, OpenAI is still the best at just executing those well-defined tasks.
And when do we bring in Claude?
You use Claude Opus 4.5 for the heavy mental lifting, legal analysis, complex strategy sessions, or writing that has to maintain a very specific voice for hours on end. Claude is the only one that really stays coherent.
So when we look at the bottom line, is there a best AI anymore?
No, that question is dead. The actionable advice from A.D.A.P.T is you have to adopt a multi-model strategy. You use Gemini for synthesis, GPT for production, and Claude for coherence. Don't just rely on one.
It sounds like we have to start treating them like a team of specialists, not a single Swiss Army knife.
That's it, exactly. And, that raises a provocative thought to leave you with. As these models get these distinct personalities, the synthesizer, the producer, the thinker, are we in danger of outsourcing our own critical thinking? A multi-model strategy is smart, but you have to make sure the final judgment call always comes from you, not the algorithm.
A crucial reminder for 2026. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
This is A.D.A.P.T, your personalized AI coaching program. If you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, visit adaptaicoaching.com to understand how AI can upgrade your or your team's productivity. Keep learning and keep being curious.